Okay, let's give you a quick overview of the reference pages here and the kind of things we can control in an index. So first of all, let's go up to View, Reference Pages, and we'll be looking for an IX reference page. Again, the name of the reference page is going to match the suffix on our index, and in this case it's IX. So we expect to find an IX reference page, which we do here. And let's move this splitter over a little bit so we can make this bigger. We'll zoom up to about 150%. And then we can take a close look at these. Now, first of all, for every level you have in your index, you're going to have a level 1, level 2, level 3 IX format, and so on. So in our particular index, we have 2 levels. And so we see a level 2 IX paragraph, and we see a level 1 IX paragraph. And so if you had 3 levels, you'd have a level 3 IX. If you had 4, a level 4 IX, and so on. And these are basically here for convenience. I mean, you can use these to format these. Now, we chose to format them when we were on the body page, but we'll just show you the paragraph designer real quick. And if we go to the font tab, you can see how we formatted these on the body pages. We made them Trabucket MS, and we added a little bit of space above. So all that formatting that we did on the body page just shows up here, so you can see these here. Now, the one thing to notice, obviously, the order doesn't seem to make much sense here. We've got the level 2 IX up here, and we've got the level 1 IX down here, and it really doesn't matter. The order of these paragraphs on the reference page is inconsequential for the most part. So if yours looks different, if it's in a different order, don't worry about it. And I wouldn't bother moving them around. It's not really worth copying and pasting and taking the risk of messing something up. So I would just leave them the way they are. Alright, so our second paragraph is called Separators IX, and the purpose for this paragraph is just to determine how our page numbers are separated from each entry and also from each other. So for example, in this this index here, our page numbers are separated from the entry by just a plain space. And then if there's multiple page numbers, they're either going to be separated by a comma, space, or an end dash. And we'll show you how we can actually change that if we want to. Now, our next paragraph is called Group Titles IX, and this determines what those group titles look like in our index. And we can make some changes here, which we'll show you later on. The next paragraph is called Sort Order IX, and this is for setting general sort order in an index. So for example, in most indexes we would have our symbols first, and then we would have our numbers, our numerics, and then finally we would have our alphabetic characters. And so if we want, we can change that. We can rearrange that. Now the next paragraph is called Ignore Chars IX, and this just gives you a list of characters to ignore when you're determining sort order. So we'll show you again how that works. And then down here, these are your active IX paragraph formats, and just like lists that we looked at in earlier videos, these determine how your hypertext links work when you click on them in an index. And you know, most times you're just going to leave those alone. You're not going to make any changes to these, but they do have to be there. And finally, for each index, for each marker type in our index, we're going to have a set of building blocks. So if we look down here in the lower left, you'll see that this is index IX, and the first part of that matches the marker type. So we've included index markers, and so it's called index IX. Now if we included other marker types in this index, for example subject markers, we would have subject IX. And this allows us to add or remove or modify building blocks. So for example, here we have the page num, which is obviously going to show the page number of the entry, but we could add a chap num building block for the chapter number or volume number. So we'll see how these work in more detail in later videos.